Hello, 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 everybody. It's me and Enzo. I'll just go to the comment section. John, if he's still here, hello, John. He said, if the truth comes out about aliens, will I believe it? And then he's put in the thing, no. It's a funny thing. Enzo and I obviously get into it in a minute. We'll just give a few people time to pop in because this will be my regular time from now on. Enzo pointed out I'm all over the place like a dog's breakfast. So I thought, all right. Hi, Anna. Anramusun. Anramusun. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. G'day. A lot's been going on, and so Enzo and I were just talking about the different things, and John, I'm sort of on your level. I absolutely think something's going on. I absolutely believe something has occurred in the past or whatever, but it's going to be real tricky. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Anna. I think it's going to be tricky. It's going to come down to who we trust, who it is telling us what we want to know and who we trust, I guess. But there's a representative in Congress, Tim Burchett. I like him. I trust him. So I do trust him. Don't you trust him?
I do. He to me comes out as sincere, and he's not one of these rich socialite type people. Anyways, he's very, very down to earth. He's from Tennessee, so he's got a little bit of that accent. Says dadgummit a lot when he gets flustered, and I think he's kind of funny actually. So.
Yeah, I like him. And he talks about, I mean, there's other subject matter. I mean, I've watched him in Congress when he questions people, not about this subject, but other things. And he's pretty on the ball, and he says what he thinks. And I've got a couple of clips here to show everybody in a minute anyway, if you're wondering what it is that Enzo and I are talking about. But basically in the last, I want to say, I mean, it's been going on for a while where people have been coming out saying, I've been told this and I've been told that. But since these people are disappearing, for want of a better word, and not being found, there's so many conspiracy theories out there. Things like, I actually sent you a video. I don't know if you had time to watch it. Hi, Tanya. I don't know if you had time to watch it or not, Enzo, but Tim Pool was talking about this subject last week. Cheryl, g'day. Dee, hello. And he was saying that, you know, what does one believe? But he was sort of saying that they're thinking that maybe all these scientists that are disappearing are being taken underground because the end is nigh, and we'll need all these scientists to help us get back to whatever once the world ends. And I'm like,
that has to come up, because I mean, there have been a few of these scientists. I think we're up to like 8 now or something like that. That have either gone missing or been found dead. A couple have been found dead, but under mysterious circumstances. But even the ones that are like just straight up gone, just missing, you kind of have to wonder: did somebody off them for whatever reason and just hide the bodies, or did they secret them all the way someplace out in the middle of nowhere? It's like, okay, it's go time. This big thing's about to happen, and you are in. So,
yeah, and you wonder too, is it possible the ones that have shown up deceased have actually been told this is what's going to happen, this is what you're going to do, you're coming with us, and they've gone, no, I'm going to warn everybody. No. Sorry, no, you're not going to warn anyone.
Sorry.
See you later. You know, with thinking that they were safe. But that's a huge one. And at the end of the day, if the world ends, the world ends. Poor old Enzo's has nightmares because of what's his name? Ben somebody. Ben, what's his name?
What is Ben's name? Basically, it's an end of the world type scenario that happens every 12,000 years, and we're due.
We're overdue.
where not just the magnetic poles of the Earth, North Pole, South Pole, but the physical geographical North Pole, South Pole flips about like 90 degrees, so that Antarctica and the North Pole are like on the equator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so basically, if you're not rich and you don't have an underground, look, quite frankly, I think even if you had an underground anything, it'd have to be waterproof because, and then wherever you,
where it is, because this isn't going to be, basically what it is when the Earth flips, because this is all, it's not going to be a quick jerk motion. It's going to be slowly moving in there over probably about 24 to 48 hours. It's going to take to slide from, around like that. That's still good. If you have a bucket full of water and you slide it off to the side, water is going to slosh out, right? The oceans will do the same thing. So the way that it'll go, because there's indications where it's done this in the past, exactly like what path it'll take and the whole works. And basically there's like it's like a slow flood where it'll like it's like high tide that doesn't stop, and will go up and up and up like an inch or so every hour or so for about 24 hours. And then all that will wash back wherever it came from. Like for the United States, like where I'm living right now, it's going to be underwater.
Yeah. Maybe Australia will be okay. But I don't think so.
Yeah, basically if you're not up in the mountains, wherever you're going to be in bad.
What about poor old Tanya over in New Zealand?
Well, there is one of the escape plans. There it is. One of the escape plans is because it is a slow rise and fall for this particular, doomsday scenario. You could build a boat of some type and just wait, float along and wait it out. It has to be sturdy enough to not get punctured by trees and houses and buildings and everything else that's going to get swept along with it. So you would have to, factor that in.
So a good time to book a cruise.
Book a cruise, get all liquored up and eating
and take chances. But then I'd want to take on, speaking of Ark, Anna, speaking of Ark, I'd want to take my birds and my dogs. And I mean, if I've got to leave my animals, I'll die with them. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't do that. But look, at the end of the day, who knows what exciting adventure is awaiting for us after death? So it could be a good thing. All these things I hear. What was I watching the other night? The Y-Files, when he was talking about the nurse that communicated with the alien that had crash landed with the Roswell thing. And I'm watching it because the Y-Files, for those of you who don't watch the Y-Files, it's like he'll present evidence, a story, and towards the end he'll give you the truth. So he presents it and you think, oh wow, and then it gets to the end and you go, oh, I thought so. But not always. Sometimes he goes, well, it could be true. But he spoke about
this story. But is it true?
Yes.
It's like, oh no. Where's our girl at?
Yeah. And so this nurse was communicating with an alien telepathically who told her that our bodies are indeed just a vessel for the soul, but we haven't learned what that means yet, and that all the aliens that come to Earth are just vessels, that they can leave the vessel at any time that they like, really. And I'm like, oh God. And I'm like, and then it wasn't true anyway. It was all bullshit story made up. No nurse of that name, we think, never worked it with the aliens. So, so annoying. Dee says Australia's dormant volcanoes are apparently rumbling. Yes, well, that's the thing. I mean, you look at a map of the world from centuries ago, and the world was a very different shape. So obviously, all these plates keep moving. Who knows? Who knows? I'm pretty sure Australia was once attached to the bottom. I could be wrong. Attached to the bottom of like the African nations, and then we've broken away.
Oh, yeah, if you want to go that far, all the way back to like Pangea, all of our surface continents were all connected.
Yeah, we were all one big mess.
You can sort of see when you look at like a world map, you can see the puzzle pieces, how they kind of fit together. If you squish them around.
Yeah, so we'll see. Oh, thank you, Tanya. There, if anyone has not watched the YouTube channel, The Y Files, or why not?
You're in for a treat.
You're in for a treat. Yes, it's a really great show. It'd be one of the best ones on YouTube, to be honest. Do you know he's got nearly 5 million, or maybe he has got 5 million followers? Yep. Like, crikey. Yeah, which explains why he can afford to make such good content.
And he's doing like personal, like long form interviews now, the Y Files Basement.
Yeah, they're really good.
Oh, yeah. Deep dives with that. Who was it he had on just last week? Mark D'Antonio, who's an astronomer. And I didn't know his full UFO experience until he told it. And because he's like contact in the desert all the time. And he and I have chatted privately a couple of times about astronomy stuff, because we're both astronomy nerds. But all that. But I didn't know the full story until he told it on the show. It's like, wow, we have way more things to talk about now, I see.
Yeah, like it's amazing. So yeah, I really do recommend to anyone who wants to watch a really good show, go to the Y Files. And yeah, he does have the basement, and that's where remember a couple of weeks ago I spoke about when Enzo wasn't here to assist me. I spoke about the Joshua or the Jesus scrolls. It's on the Y Files in the basement episodes, the long form podcast that he does, that he spoke to the fellow who went and discovered those. I'm still with that. The guy sounds believable. I believe him, but I'm still on that, like, oh, I need to know a bit more. But it's highly interesting. So yeah, go watch it. Yes, Hecklefish. Yes, Hecklefish. That's to be honest, I like Hecklefish. You can buy Hecklefishes. I might get myself one, but why?
Have small ones and big ones, so you can have both.
Yeah, lizard people.
Lizard people.
Lizard people. Yeah, I just thought, look, I'll just for people, the subject matter, and what Enzo and I sort of want to touch on and discuss today. There's a few things we've already touched on, a couple, but definitely, I mean, the world's just crazy at the minute, so no point talking about what's going on in different countries or anything, because, well, I don't think anyone needs to worry. I don't think the end is nigh because of what's going on that way. I think I'd be more worried about the underlying, as was it Dee pointed out before, or Cheryl, someone, the volcanoes and the earthquakes we've had down this end the last few weeks, which are highly unusual, so I'm told. And a crack somewhere appeared in something that but I'm watching. It's like overload. It's like, what? So, but in regards to subject matter, with Matt Gaetz, I thought I would just share this is just a quick, again, it's only in 1 minute 42. I'll pause it somewhere. But Benny Johnson has his own channel too. I like Benny. He said, well, I haven't watched him the last couple of weeks or whatever, but hopefully he's not falling down the same hole as Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, and what's the other crazy woman's name? Starts with a C. Candace Owens. That's it. Is that her name? Yeah, she's a
mess.
Oh, she's a nut job. Anyway, but Benny's good.
Remember who warned you off of her?
Oh, crikey, no. But anyway, Benny had Matt Gaetz on talking about something else, and then this came up in the conversation. Let me know if you can't hear it.
I mean, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
And later on, you'll see a little interview with Burchett where he backs this up. Matt Gaetz, of course, was nominated to be the DOG, Department of Justice, the head of
supposed to head that up and couldn't get past.
But something happened. I don't know, something about him having a girlfriend back in the day. I don't know, some BS that came up. So you basically got out of the running. But he's a believable, a very good congressman when he was in Congress. God, you wouldn't want to be questioned by him. I used to love watching him in question time. But anyway, we'll go on.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating. What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Do you please?
Yeah, I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened. And what he wanted was a group members of Congress to all show up at the same time at all of these different locations so that any of those activities could not be moved. And of course, it's a physical impossibility to get members of Congress to simultaneously show up at like 8 locations at one time. And so that never occurred.
It's hard enough to get Congress to show up at Congress.
Anyway. What was that? DOJ, not dog. No. Oh, Tonga got a note. Yes, Dee. That's the weird thing about this particular thing of earthquake bits and bobs. It's in an area that hasn't gone off for whatever. Yeah, so I knew about Tonga. Yes, Cheryl. What the indeed? Really, really weird stuff. So, there we go. Enzo's just going to show you. Feel free to point, Enzo, and then we'll get back to Matt Gaetz.
I don't know if people can actually see that or not, but the yellow dots are all I think it's sub 4.0 earthquakes, and then there's a few orange ones there up here in Hawaii. There's like one that's kind of red, but they're all, the heavier stuff. Like this particular one's a 4.4 up in Papua New Guinea. It's one over in Indonesia. It's like a 4.4, but all the rest of these are like in like the 5 range. All these others, which are all over this map, all over like north of Auckland and all of that stuff that are in the 5s. So these are not even like way down here closer to south of Australia down towards the Antarctic ridge. They've got stuff going off at 5.0s. So everything's kind of popping off down in that little quadrant of, you can, if you zoom out and see everything, it's crazy. It's, the whole Pacific Rim is kind of lighting up, but it's unusual to see this much activity down around in your neighborhood. It's
the aliens. It's the underwater aliens for sure, Enzo.
It's all those interspecies mating camps. They're rocking and rolling down
there. Now back to the subject. It is a bit scary, but don't worry. As us Aussies say, Dee, she'll be right, mate. No worries. It's all good. She'll be right. Until it's not. So this is this is one of my favorites, Tim Burchett. He's really good. He's always happy to give interviews and stuff. He's obviously someone very approachable. But he sits in on all the skiffs. If anybody watched the congressional hearing on, I'm going to say UFOs. I hate saying UAPs. If anyone watched that when they were talking about, the whistleblowers and all that sort of thing, he was one of the men on asking the questions and involved in the skiffs. And a skiff, for those of you who don't know, is like you've got to go through all these things, take off your watches, you put your phones in baskets, all that sort of thing, top secret areas that you go into.
It's a high security information place where you can, you can't say secret stuff outside of the skiff, but when you go in the skiff where it's all secure and nobody can hear you, nobody can sit across the parking lot with a parabolic mic or anything, hear what you're saying. This is, all electronics are blocked, all that stuff.
Yeah.
In a skiff. Yeah. So you can say, yeah, there's aliens mating with humans and making hybrid babies.
Yeah. So anyway, Tim was on with someone else I like. Other people don't like him, but Stephen A. What's his last name? Stephen A. The Democrat.
Stephen A. Oh, the guy from ESPN.
Yeah. The sports fella. Yeah. He had Tim on. So they were talking about a whole heap of other stuff. But towards the end of the interview, Stephen asked him this question. So I'll have to stop and start. Otherwise, I get hit with copyright. But this is what Tim had to say on the subject.
And they're not going to control him. And that we've got a real problem in the world because, again, it's all about profit.
Before I let you get on out of here, I got one more question to ask you, and I got to transition. This is about UFOs. I couldn't let you out of here without asking you about that. You've said you've seen UFO briefings that would, quote, set the earth on fire, end quote. And you also said publicly, you're not suicidal. That's a serious statement. What exactly are you being told that the American people aren't allowed to hear, sir? About
we go into what's called a skiff, and that's kind of James Bond room. It's lead lined. You can't take a cell phone. You got a Fitbit. I don't, but I've been in those rooms and they'll say, hey, somebody's still getting a signal. Somebody's got a cell phone, and somebody will check their, oh crap, that's my Fitbit. Sorry, it's my whatever, and they have to go out of the room. And we're briefed by the highest level of either our military intelligence, these alphabet agencies, and they tell us things. Which again, you've got one group telling you within some of these things that they don't exist. One time this little punk with a freaking man bun, and then you got these military people telling us that something does exist.
I'd love to know who the little freak with the man bun is. I'm sure he knows who he is.
Never trust a man bun.
And I must say, he must have really annoyed Tim because Tim's mentioned him a few times in different interviews.
And I've been briefed and seen pictures and talked enough, but you got to realize too, it's all about the money. And is this a psyop or what? Are they putting this garbage out there so that people will say, gosh, we need to fund these agencies more, and so we can research it more? I'm not into all that. It's not about little green men. It's not about flying saucers, sir. It's about what are they spending tens of maybe billions of your tax dollars on? If it doesn't exist, then where are they studying it? And if it does exist, as I told President Trump the other day, you need disclosure. We need transparency.
I think we're going to get transparency once all this business in Iran settles down a bit, which, so far as that's concerned, just go in and bloody do them in. But so, as soon as I'm over it, just. But yeah, because Tim does talk with President Trump a lot, but we'll see what happens there. Hopefully, Trumpy will be the president of the disclosure president.
America can handle it. I'm sick of hearing this stuff. We can't handle it. It's, and I'm a Christian, and they appealed to me on that level. Barchett, this stuff's kind of anti-Christian, and your beliefs. I said, no, it isn't. Genesis 1, God created the heavens and the earth.
What do they look like? What do they look like? Can you tell me? I mean, you've seen Independence Day. You've seen aliens. You've seen a few things. What do they look like? Give me that one.
Well, it's not Independence Day, I'll tell you that.
Okay. I got you. What can you tell me?
But they're gonna, if they would just
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
if they would just release.
What was that, Enzo?
Said it's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's the movie.
I think so. Actually, I'll keep playing this in a minute, but that's another thing, people, too. The Close Encounters of the Third Kind movie. For the life of me, Enzo probably remember his name, but there is a French man who's been on Joe Rogan a couple of times, who the character in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, who is French. Jacques Vallée, yes, thank you. That's not the character's name in the movie, but Jacques Vallée is the fellow that character is based on, and Jacques was actually an advisor when they were making Close Encounter of a Third Kind. So I'd probably go more for the little aliens in Close Encounter of a Third Kind than I would, for the aliens that we see in what's it called, the Independence Day.
What I was briefed on just a couple of weeks ago. Again, we had somebody come in there, a colleague, a friend, if you will, that was basically there to disrupt.
Okay.
And they tried to ruffle this guy's feathers and ask him stuff. And sir, he named names, dates, people in the meetings, where these items, if you will, are located. And I mean, it's too much. It's too much, sir. It's too much is going on. But don't believe any of this stuff you see on the internet, this AI stuff. I wouldn't believe it unless I saw it with my own two eyes. Okay.
All right.
So, but Trump's the guy to do it. If anybody will do it, if anybody's a disruptor, it's Donald J. Trump, and he will disrupt with this. And I had a conversation with folks at the White House today just about that, and we're going to be, hopefully some things will be coming out soon. And
he promised it. He promised it during the campaign, but he also promised a lot of transparency with the Epstein files. That hasn't worked out that way. I can tell you that much. But listen, I know I got to let you go because I got to run. But I'd be remiss in neglecting to bring this up to you, sir. Since Trump returned to office, Democrats have been somewhat successful, if not, dare I say, very successful at the polls, during elections. How concerned are you about the GOP for the midterms?
I'm of the belief system if the far left takes it over, we lose our country. I think you've got a socialist group. I mean, some of these people, sir, are openly Marxist.
You're muted, Karen. Hello? Is it just me? Maybe she can't hear me either.
Sorry, I stuck the thing on because the cat was at the door going. Stephen. Sorry, guys. Stephen A. Smith in America. He's on ESPN. Is that right? The sports.
Yep,
he's a sports commentator, but he's a Democrat. And I'll tell you what. He's one of the. I think he's one of the normal Democrats, if that makes sense.
Right,
does that make
traditional
sense?
Democrat. Yeah,
he's a traditional Democrat, so I like him. Along with Fetterman, I like Fetterman, but yes, Stephen A. Smith. I reckon him and Fetterman. Stephen A. Smith for president, Fetterman for vice president. It could work. I don't know. At least you could just about trust him. You can't trust anyone else. But anyway, that's off the subject. But he is very animated. I like him. You can see him talk a lot sometimes on different subjects, and he's pretty. He's pretty normal. I like him. And hello, Jonathan. Nice to see you. Nice to see you indeed. So, I don't know. What do you reckon, Enzo? Are we going to find out the truth?
There's certainly been a lot of stuff floated, especially the last couple of weeks, by various politicians that And some of it's pretty weird sounding, but that's going to be the reality of it. There's a reason that they've kept it quiet all this time, is because a lot of it's pretty outlandish sounding. And to be honest, that's what you would expect from a completely different civilization, from a completely different star system. It's not Star Trek where everybody looks like a human except they've got silly putty on their nose or whatever it is. It's going to be very, very different from what we're used to seeing and dealing with. And that, to me, that's you should expect that. And so if they, break their silence kind of a thing, I see no reason why they couldn't say, hey, there was a crash of a UFO back in the 40s, and we recovered, some wreckage, which we still haven't figured out because it's wreckage. And there were biologics in there, and they might show some autopsy photos or whatever of some little torn up grays. Well, and I don't see an issue with, basically letting humanity know we are not alone in the universe. Even if it's just that one thing. If it was just the one crash in Roswell in 1947, that's still gigantic to know that there are other beings out there. It's not just us sitting here squabbling over oil and crap like that. There's other things going on the outside of our little neighborhood, and that should be shattering it up.
Yeah, the other thing that sort of is it's hard. It's look, there are so many things that are possible. Like they're psyops that happen all the time, and it's evident. Like for people who are watching, for example, small snippets of anything, a TikTok user or an X user that can, like the shorts, and just get little snippets all the time of things. Really, that's almost brilliant to brainwash people, and it seems to have been successful.
That's what it's for. That's what
it's for. And people see these little cutout snippets of people saying something, and go, "Oh, look at that. Oh, look, I told you he was bad," or "Oh, look at that. I told you she said this," or blah 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 blah. Whereas if they've lost their capacity for critical thinking. People aren't being taught that anymore, I don't think. I don't think our kids are being taught. I doubt they even know what critical thinking means. But instead of like you see something and you automatically go, "Oh, that's real," instead of going,
it's done on purpose. It's intentional. Yeah. It is programming.
It's programming.
It really is. And the same thing with even like the regular news, where they'll put a ridiculous clickbait headline on an article that when you read the article, you get like the third or fourth paragraph down, basically just discounts the entire headline of the article. It's not true at all. It's total crap. And a lot of people I get it, people are busy or whatever, and they just see the headline or the 30-second, short or TikTok or whatever, and they just go with it. They're like, "Oh, well, that's what it is." They said, this anonymous zero on the internet that I watched for 30 seconds said that this is true. So it must be true.
And look, and I see it in even in my friend circle here. I see it a lot because I've got a couple of very smart friends who do what I do. When you see something, you ask questions. Like even something as trivial as this morning, I saw a little, which I hadn't seen happen before, a little snippet of Artemis 2. Aramis. How do you say it? The spaceship that went up to the moon? Artemis. Where someone said, "Oh, a UFO." To me, it looked like what's that? Because there's this tiny little shiny object that comes from the side and behind something and then shoots off in front of the moon quite a distance and just disappears. And I said to Enzo, I'm like, "What?" I said, "Did you see that?" But he didn't see it, but he has seen it somewhere else. So Enzo explained it. Now, I could have gone with that short and gone, "Oh, my God, it's an alien spaceship while we're up there looking at the moon." But instead. I thought,
then I would have come in to be the Debbie Downer and say,
yeah,
probably
no,
not.
probably not. But the point is, get excited and question what you're looking at, and I guess the people that fall prey to all this fake stuff mostly are the people that are short on time, like work all day long, come home at night time, they're exhausted, they turn on the TV, they watch the news, and whatever gets flown at them, oh, well, it must be real because the newscaster that I've watched for 20 years is saying it. Yes, I saw that. Good old flat earthers. Who knows? Maybe we're just in a fishbowl and we're being watched by aliens. But yeah, so it's tricky. But what do you think about what Matt Gaetz was saying, though, about the breeding program? There was another story that an ex-Marine told. I believe it was on Sean Ryan's show, but he said that they were on a mission in the middle of the bush somewhere down in whoop whoop, like Brazil or Peru, somewhere like that, and they came across a big ship and people in crates. Humans were being loaded in crates onto this big ship, and they got threatened by the ex-military members that were doing this job. They got threatened. Now that's all I can remember of the story, because I was like, what? This guy obviously wouldn't tell the tale. Do you know the story I'm talking about, Enzo?
I do know the story. I don't recall the gentleman's name, but I've seen that interview and a couple of different interviews with that same guy. The gist of what Karen had was correct, that they were down there. There was some kind of a big emergency, like a typhoon or an earthquake or something like that they were down there to help support. And they saw something weird down in the jungle as they were flying around in their helicopter. They land their helicopter nearby, and they kind of like go up, and they're like, what the hell is this kind of saucer shaped, kind of weird triangle, something or other thing floating like right above the tree line? And out of nowhere, like 20 dudes in basically blank military gear, no patches, no indications of who ranks or nothing, just come out and they're like, drop your weapons. And these are like special forces dudes. And they're like, who the fuck are you guys? They turned over their weapons and they just sit over there. And while they're sitting there, they can see that they're like loading these big crates, and there's also people and they look like people like from the disaster area, whatever the thing was that was going on nearby. Like they just grabbed people off the streets that were wandering around in a daze because their house has got blown away or whatever it was, and they're filing them onto this craft. And finally they moved them a little further away where they couldn't see as much. They didn't give them their weapons back initially. They escorted them back to where their helicopter was, and just threw their weapons down on the ground. And it's like, get the F out of here. If we see you again, we'll shoot you on sight. And and that was it. And they're like, who are these people? Because they answered 0 questions and were given the impression you don't want to ask questions of these guys. So
but he did say that the whatever it was looked like a spaceship, like it was hovering, like they described what they were looking at.
It wasn't a helicopter. It wasn't a hovercraft. It wasn't anything like that. It was like nothing you'd ever seen before.
So it's pretty spooky when you think of that little story, and then what Matt Gaetz said around the fact that they're basically getting people from places like this and using them in these experiments. That to me is terrifying, because when I was a kid and when I was a little girl and I learned all about World War II and what they did to the Jewish people, and what was done to select like horrific medical experiments done on some of the Jewish people. I can't even go there because that makes me feel physically sick. So if people back in World War II times, the Germans, scientists and doctors were willing then to do horrific experiments on children, women, human beings like they were, then I kind of believe that if there is some kind of a being that they've got DNA of or whatever and can try and do, I don't believe for a second that it's not possible, because the human race has shown it can be bloody disgusting. You know, evil.
There's other groups out there totally unaffiliated with like UFO stuff, but that they monitor human trafficking across the world. And they said that where a lot of people come up missing is in these disaster areas where people are displaced, where their houses get destroyed by an earthquake or volcano or a hurricane or cyclone, something like that, where there's a lot of people in a large area affected, that these pirate types come in and just start scooping people up, you know, looking for like the younger kids and all the women and stuff like that, scooping them up, and they're all in the human trafficking pipeline then. Because when nobody finds them, when they're cleaning up all the wreckage afterwards, they just assume they got swept out to sea, died in whatever the disaster was, but they're really been enslaved.
Yeah. And what I'm about to say is going to annoy a few people, but even so much as it's become a thing like, I'll be careful, but in comparison, so you had the Nazis doing what they did to the Jewish people. You've possibly got other things going on. I mean, they hurt animals, they do whatever. And then to the point where out in the open, nowadays, this is my view, my opinion, but out in the open for everyone to know about, they now take children and physically change their bodies to suit their gender. To me, that's monstrous. That's evil, right? Beyond all evil. A child. But yet human beings sit there and go, oh, well, you know, that's not all right. It's not all right to go and chippy chop things off of children, ever. So that's the problem. What's next? They'll say, oh, but it is okay to interbreed humans with an alien because it gives us a smarter human. No, if they put their hand up for it, maybe, you know, like if someone said, oh, yeah, well, look, yeah, I'll give it a go. Why not? Let's see what happens, you know, but not kidnapping people from poorer countries or taking in people who know better, or people off the streets, or no way. So if this is going on as Matt Gaetz says it is, I don't know if heads will roll. There is so much money involved in doing all this crap, but what's the point? What are they trying to do? Like, what's the outcome? So they're going to turn around and go, hey, look, we've created a new type of human being. You know, if you're a woman and you can't have a child, you can now, because we've got alien sperm. And we can make babies because it override. I don't know what what the end game is to it all. You know, like I just don't understand. What do you reckon?
It is one of those complex, super weird things that nobody truly understands. But even going back as far as like, you know, the 50s and 60s, there are people that, you know, contactees and, you know, abduction, you know, alien abduction stories of, you know, where basically they are extracting sperm and eggs from the people that they do. And there's been a lot of women that have been abducted that report back that they're pretty sure they're pregnant afterwards. But then mysteriously, a couple of months later, they're no longer pregnant. In the middle of the night, they go to sleep and they wake up and they're no longer pregnant. So did they get re-abducted and they took the embryo out of them? I guess. I don't know. But there's a ton of those stories.
Look, I know when David Grush was giving his evidence in the, whatchamacallit, he said that they had through the crash retrieval program, they had gotten human biologics, like non-human biologics. And so he sort of floated the idea that hybrids were living amongst us. I'm like,
well, not non-human biologics just means like an alien body. It means it's not from Earth.
well, exactly.
It doesn't necessarily mean a hybrid, which would be a intentional interbreeding of some kind of alien and a human.
Yeah, no, but that's the idea he was floating. Like he said, so I don't know. That's how I took what he said, but I don't know. It's just it's sickening. Oh well, Cheryl, or is it so they can say we did it first? I have no idea. I based on past what humans do to other humans. All right, it would not surprise me if military type people got a whole heap of human beings from a poorer country, or just, whatever they want to bloody do, and got a whole heap of people and stuck them in the middle of the desert and hit them with some kind of chemical warfare just to see what it did. Because they've done stuff like that. They have done stuff like that in the past, even to the point where in World War II, when they were letting off the bombs, letting our soldiers, they must have known even then it wasn't wise to stand there and look at a nuclear explosion. Yet here in Australia, they let our boys all stand there and, look at that. And what happened? That lands along,
They really had no idea about fallout. Basically, once the bomb goes off, they thought, well, once the flash is over, and as long as you're not within range of the initial explosion, you'll be fine. Not realizing that there's billions of tons of dust and dirt that are now radioactive and floating over the next several states for a couple of days.
Well, and as Dee's pointing out, the Agent Orange, when I went to Vietnam last year, and I knew about Agent Orange. Again, I grew up in the era where people were coming back ill from the Vietnam War. But speaking to the people, I had no idea Agent Orange is still a huge issue in Vietnam. Huge, massive. Massive. There's areas you can't go to. When I was looking around and doing little tours and stuff, we can't go in there. It's still Agent Orange. There's groups of people that do crafts and handcrafts to earn money. They're kept separate from the population. They're not allowed to have babies because they're babies of, and like they're trying to breed out the people that are affected from Agent Orange, because if they have children, they're deformed. And so they've got their own little villages because, and this is things that you absolutely don't know. I mean, I knew about Agent Orange, but I thought it was all cleaned up and finished with because America and the company that made Agent Orange went in and fixed it all. No, they fixed a bit, but no, it's pretty bad over there. And I just sort of think, oh, this is shocking. So yes, they've got the geno that's been, so you're not allowed to have babies, but I guess it still happens, doesn't it? But they're separate. Yeah, where I got a few little knickknacks from. We stopped in the bus on the way through one of these little places that make tourist type items, and they're all victims of the Agent Orange thing. And they're looked after by the government there, but so the things humans do. So this story about alien and human hybrids, it would not surprise me in the least. It really wouldn't. It really wouldn't. And like Burchett was saying, if people actually knew some of the things that he's been told and shown, I think people's brains, normal people who see things like when you're mutilating other people's bodies for experiments or for whatever, like me, that go, that's just not right. You shouldn't be using humans. But if someone puts up their hand, like I was jokingly saying the other day, I'm getting older now. If Elon Musk put out a thing and said, hey, is there anybody who'd like to have one of these implants put in to see if you can interact with a computer and be just as smart as AI, I'd put my hand up. I'd go, oh, that could be good. Do you know what I mean? But that's me volunteering.
Sure.
That's not me being kidnapped off the street and thrown in a cage somewhere deep down.
Various governments around the world, to include the United States, have certainly done, bad things.
Some horrendous things. Things.
MK Ultra that was going on up in Long Island, New York, where they were literally grabbing like runaway kids and homeless people and stuff like that, and intentionally overdosing them on LSD and shit like that, just to see how they react. They were trying to do some kind of like mind control experiment.
That was the prostitute one, wasn't it? It was San Francisco, I think, and it was prostitutes would get the men in, and then the men would be drugged, and that was one of the MK Ultras things. It had a name, I just can't remember what it was called. But yeah, like MK Ultra. Fun fact: the person that what was her name? That stupid woman who didn't get elected for president. See, I block out people's names I don't like. What's her name?
I don't know. There's been a couple of those.
No, just now. Then she lost.
Oh, Kamala?
Kamala. Yeah. Her mum was in MK Ultra. Her mum was an MK Ultra scientist. No, she was. True.
I'm not surprised at all.
No, true. And I think to myself, well, America dodged a bullet there. But yeah, I just sort of think, Dee, people do donate their bodies. Down in Melbourne, you used to be able to donate your body to the Melbourne University, so you could be a cadaver, whatever. But they only take bodies of people that actually live in Melbourne, because they've got so many people wanting to avoid, obviously, funeral costs. So there you go. Yeah, I'll donate my body. I'm not talking about waiting till I die to donate my body for an experiment, though. I'd love to see how that would work. Like with someone who's functional, well, at the moment, functional physically and mentally, to also have that chip put in. How would that enhance your ability to make sense of situations? Imagine having an AI brain. Imagine being able to be asked any question at any time and you got the answer. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, yes, I saw that, Dee, though, but, well, that would be good, because then we'd know she'd lose.
That's less believable than Matt Gaetz saying that there's alien human hybrids out there.
Yeah, I don't think she will. They need, they need someone like Stephen A. Smith, or they need old school Democrats, not these new crazy people. But that's, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I keep my eye. I don't know why I'm so fascinated with American politics. Always have been, but not to the extent I am now. And probably because as you look into it, you learn more and more the intricacies of how things are done, which I never knew before. And it's really quite interesting. And then that opened my eyes to the political things going on in my country, and I'm like, oh, what a freaking mess that people put themselves in by voting for people before they educate themselves to who it is they're voting for. Not in your country, in mine. So I would be used to try to get rid of diabetes. Yeah, I reckon maybe a transplant. I wonder if they could get, because it's with diabetes, it's the lack of your pancreas, the isle of. So I'm trying to remember my anatomy, but yeah, they could maybe do a transplant of something, because wherever it is that lacks, I'm sure it's a. Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, transplants or something.
Transplants, or they just clone it and then 3D print it out of your own clone material. That's like the new thing that they're talking about being able to do here in the next 5-10 years. where, that way there's no chance of rejection because it's from your own DNA or all that stuff, or any kind of damaged or defective. Well, if it's defective, you're going to have the same problem. It's just going to take a few years.
The same problem, but pancreas, yeah. It's like, just replace the pancreas. But it's funny too. I didn't realize there's just so much going on that until you look, you kind of look, and then someone dangles something sparkly over here to get your smoke and mirrors, as they call it. Like, what? Hang on, what's going on there? Oh wait, but look over here. This is more interesting. And like little silly idiots, we look over there and forget to look at what it was we were trying to work out in the first place. But I did see someone else talking about psyops. I saw someone come up with, I think it was on Tim Pool. I don't mind watching Tim Pool. But someone said that Lazar was all part of a psyop, that possibly he was hired, and through tricks and magic tricks and things like that, they tricked him into believing what he was seeing and then kicked him out so that he'd spread all this false stuff. I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, I don't think so. Like, that's extreme. What? He was there for a bit longer than 5 seconds.
The Bob Lazar, the most recent Bob Lazar, like 3D animated, film about him, just came out like last week or the week before.
Have you watched
it? I have watched it. It's pretty good. If you know the full story, like if you watched him when he was on Joe Rogan a while back, you basically know the story. However, what they've done is they've gone in and handmade. They didn't use AI. To be fair, they did admit there's certain parts that they used AI where it shows like a younger, Bob Lazar walking around. That those little parts they use some AI, but they did 3D modeling of the
ship and everything,
of the place that he worked, the hangar it was in, the mountain, all of these different things that he talks about, so that as he's telling the story, you're seeing it as he saw it, and all of that stuff. And it's pretty fascinating. So if you've never heard the story before, you'll get a lot out of it, because it's more than just seeing him sitting there talking. You can actually see what he's talking about with all the different examples that he has to describe and all that stuff. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I think it's on Amazon here, but when it came out, I'm right now. But when it came out, I checked my bank balance. So I'll watch it this week. But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, for sure, there's ways to drill into people false stuff, right? And that's been used for as long as man's been alive, I suppose. Like, you always try and trick people into believing one thing if you've got bad intent. But I don't know what the answer is to this until things are announced. So it'd be very interesting to see once all this Iranian stuff is sorted. It'd be very interesting to see what Trump ends up doing. And indeed, that's the other thing I think of. If we had all this advanced technology that the government knew of, not people like, Lockheed Martin and stuff, I believe they might be making stuff that the government is not aware of. But people with lots of money are. There's something afoot. There's something.
There is that idea that's been out there for a while. Basically, it's a breakaway civilization where these corporations are working together and they have spaceships and they have their own space force. They have their own military type things protecting these areas in secret locations hidden throughout the world. And the government has no oversight on it. And it's at the point that you're not going to launch a fleet of F-15s to go in and shoot up a place that has UFO technology. It's not
No,
going to end
you
well.
lose. Yeah, so it's very interesting. So I don't know what Trump is going to announce, unless he's simply going to come out and say, this is what I've been told, and we're going to really look into it. Because I don't think if the government had some of this tech, they would have used it. They would have used it, I think. But having said that, maybe not, because if your government, if the US has got it, if China and Russia have got it, maybe they're all hiding the tech because they know if they use it, then people will know they've got it. And
right.
then
there's that. I think the more likely case is they probably do have some super fantastic whiz bang thing, but they only have enough stuff to do like one of them. And it may be like super expensive to make just the one, and then super expensive to fly it and to us. So it's a doomsday weapon where only if things are getting so bad that we're getting ready to be overrun or whatever, impossible scenario, that's when we're going to launch our own UFOs that we made and use those, because then it won't matter, because it'll either be like the end of everything and we have to use it because it's our last thing in the last arrow in the quiver kind of a thing.
Yeah,
because it's so limited. They only have like one. Because if you think about in the grand scheme of things, you've got some advanced intelligence that has come here from, whether it's from another time or under the ocean or another planet or a different dimension, wherever it is they came from. Whatever technology they use to get here is way better than ours that we have today. Now, imagine the scenario of Christopher Columbus sets sail from Spain. Yes, Christopher Columbus sails the ocean blue in 1492, lands somewhere in the Bahamas originally, and plants the little Spanish flag saying this is for the Queen of Spain. And right next to where they made landfall is a crashed F-22. It's mostly intact, but it's kind of banged up. It's been sitting there for a little bit. And they load up the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria with all the little pieces and parts that they can scavenge off of the beach, and they travel back to Spain. 1492 with a super advanced fighter jet from today. How long is it going to take them to figure it out? Because in 1492, they didn't know what electricity was. They didn't know what the internal combustion engine was, much less a jet fighter. They didn't know. Yeah, they'd have to figure all this out, and they can't make more fuel for it. If there's batteries that are running something on it, they're only going to last so long. It would take them a long, long time to basically build another one of those to start flying it around.
Yeah, but the other thing I was going to ask you about too was the April 5th came and went, but of course, Chris Bledsoe's prediction that orbs would come up out of the ocean if Iran and the US were fighting and stuff. And then there was the thing with the Sphinx, but we've already worked out that his prediction of the star and the Sphinx and stuff probably won't take, what is it, October, November, that's due to astronomically happen.
It's later in the year. So.
Yeah, so more and more my gut feeling on Chris Bledsoe is like, I think he's just I don't know. I don't know. We'll see if any orbs come up out of the ocean, will we?
Yeah, I've heard from a few people that I do know that have been around him to say, because his big thing is he can manifest these orbs whenever he wants.
Oh yeah, do tell the story about you, because you told me this, that at the thing in the desert that you were at?
Yeah,
and they went
he was at Contact in the desert last year and did a orb summoning where they have like a big almost like a little park kind of an area along the property there that they set up chairs. He sat out there, he did his meditation thing and looked around. Oh, there it is. See the little light up in the sky? And this is a collection of the biggest UFO nuts in the world. This contact in the desert, and there were certainly people like me going, okay, let's see, that's that direction. Let me pull up my flight tracker. Oh yeah, that's plane. And but no, he summoned an orb. See the orb? There it is. There it goes. It flew over the horizon. You can't see it anymore. And so there's been a lot of that. I do kind of believe his original story, where he was like lost in the woods, where his sons were out there when they went fishing. He had weird lights in the sky, and a craft came down. He has missing time. All of that stuff. That's a lot of standard kind of contact stuff. Everything after that, I don't know. His encounter with the lady, and then mysteriously all these 3-letter agency people start showing up and want to know all about the lady. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just bumped his head really bad, or maybe they'd eaten. Maybe they made themselves, when they were out camping, made themselves something to eat, and it was mass hallucination from eating wild mushrooms. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah. So there's some things that I'm open to, and you wait, and I'm still waiting. Like, who knows? You don't know. But it's like me with psychics. Like right now, for example, psychics. John Edwards, if he was real, which I've always liked him, as I've said before, there's been content that he does put out there that's very helpful to people grieving. He does good. But if he could really do what he says he could do, why isn't he helping with, for example, the Nancy Guthrie case or the missing general? If he could find those two people, then no one would question his psychic abilities. So that's what gets me with things like that. I kind of think there's people out there that if you really did have that gift, you could help. Same with these people who say they can, what's the thing?
Remote viewing.
Remote viewing, thank you. If you could remote view truthfully, I'm not saying it's not possible, because there's been lots of people talking about different things that they do. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Government programs specifically for remote viewers, and
correct. So maybe there is a way that you can do it for sure, but I don't know. Still, if that's the case? I don't know. Maybe that's how they knew where all those naughty, yucky people in Iran were sitting around the table. Maybe it was like, yeah, do it now. They're all ready to eat their dinner. Bang. So I don't know. I'm open-minded, and then there's times where I simply look at things and go, I don't know. Here's a time where if you were really truthfully gifted in any of those areas, that you could come out and say, well, I will use my gift, and I will really try hard to find this particular woman or this particular man. Like, to find where the general went would be extraordinary, because people, it's a big thing that he's been disappeared with his knowledge.
And where did our audience hear it first? Right here, before the news got hold of it and went crazy.
Yeah, and true, yes, and that can be checked and verified, because we were like, what? And even since then, there's been some crazy things put forward, and I'm like, and remember I spoke to you about the Nancy Guthrie thing, and I said I couldn't remember where I saw the photo, but I know I've seen the photo with the blood inside the door. And I said that, and no one else had been talking about it. Then all of a sudden, a week or a week and a half after I spoke with you about that, all these other gumshoes, big names on thing, the blood, we finally know where it was inside the house. And I'm like, was there more? Oh, just inside the front door. I'm like, but we knew that. We had to have known that ages ago, because I saw it somewhere, and I'm not psychic. You know, so it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting indeed.
And actually, the last show we did, we were talking about the fireballs, and my theory was the only thing that's been new introduced into the solar system that would account for this would be when 3i Atlas went by. And as it turns out, Avi Loeb put out a thing like that, probably about the time I was saying that here during the show, that he said it was probably from 3i Atlas.
I'm sure Avi Loeb is watching us right now.
That's
I'm sure.
right.
That's right. I'm sure he's feeling all of his ideas.
Oh, Enzo is on. I'm going to watch it.
Enzo's on. But yeah, it's just interesting. So I don't think, for example, the human alien hybrid thing is a stretch. If they've got the aliens, given what humans have done to other humans for centuries, experimenting on them and stuff, you know, even if you go back to the 1800s, 1600s, grave robbers, you know, that they, or indeed just murdering people to use their bodies to experiment on. It's gone on forever. So the human alien hybrid thing is only questionable if there's no such thing as aliens. Otherwise, absolutely, I would believe that that's what they're doing, that they want to know what happens. Like when was it the Russians were trying to breed, some Russian dude was trying to breed, was it chimpanzees with humans? I think it was chimpanzees. You don't know about that one?
I'm not familiar with that one.
You don't? Hang on. I'm sure it was the Russians. Hang on. Russians. It could be BS, but
I'm sure somebody was doing something like that.
Let me see. In the 1920s, Soviet biologist Ilya Ivanov attempted to create human-ape hybrids by inseminating chimpanzees with human sperm, a project often sensationalized as an attempt to breed super soldiers for the Stalin. Ivanov, sanctioned and funded by the Bolshevik government, conducted experiments in Africa and the USSR, but ultimately failed to produce pregnancy before his exile in 1930. So there you go. Hey, Shape. Hello, sweetheart. So even back in the 20s, they were doing experiments. Now, I also wonder, was it the other way around? Did he actually try and impregnate women with that? But I certainly know he tried to impregnate chimpanzees with human sperm, probably his own. Gross.
Yeah. This is gross. It was king, and he got people to pay for it.
Yeah. So it says here that all experiments failed, and Ivanov was arrested in 1930 and sent to an internal exile in, I know the name, Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Thank you. Where he died in 1932. So it just ceased. The project was definitely backed by Soviet. So imagine that. So if they were willing back then to try and breed a chimpanzee with a human, and then of course you come to World War II, and the experience been done on the Jewish community by the Germans, it's not a stretch to believe that they're trying to create aliens with humans, if it's true that we have alien DNA.
Well,
or alive.
Well, and that's the thing where, if you think about it, how long ago was the big news article about Dolly the sheep, the first sheep that had ever been successfully cloned? Remember that story?
Oh, yeah, I remember Dolly.
That was like 20 years ago.
Was it more that was? I think that was when I was like in my 20s. I think we're going back a long time ago for Dolly. When was Dolly? Let me see. Dolly the sheep.
However long ago that was.
1996.
All right, there you go. So all 30
and
years
she died in 2003.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
There you go.
So 30 years ago, they celebrated being able to clone a sheep. What do you think they're up to today? In
exactly.
places like China, where it's completely unregulated and unobserved by the outside, what do you think they're up to today?
Yeah. The mind does not boggle. The mind just, that's what I mean. Humans upon humans can do gross and grotesque and revolting things to each other. You just even look at torture. Like when you go, when I visited all the old castles and things when I was in England, and you see the like in Tower of London, they've got the rack on show and they've got different things on show there, and you think, you know, putting like they used to put hot melted steel down someone's throat, like
Molten lead. Yeah, they would
just pour it down. I mean, that would have killed. Oh God, I hope that killed you quick. Probably not, actually, when I think about it. And that, like the revolting, terrifying things that humans can do to another human in the name of science or getting the truth out of someone. Really, in comparison, breeding aliens with humans is tame. Like, honestly, if that's all they're doing, that's pretty tame. But it's not nice if they're actually kidnapping humans, as it's thought to be, kidnapping humans from other places to do it, you know. Oh, there you go. Dee says we also cloned a sheep, Matilda, in the year 2000. There you go. So, yeah, if we can clone a sheep, can we clone Brad Pitt? Or Jensen Ackles from Supernatural? I'd like to clone him. Imagine an army of Jensen Ackles and Brad Pitts. Brad Pitt in the good old days, you know, that like, I don't know. That'd be all right. We probably have that technology. But yeah, oh dear. That'd be too much to bear, I think. But yeah, it's an intriguing thing, and it will be interesting to see what comes out, if anything. I think if anyone's can do it, it'd be Donald Trump, because he's not really controlled by anybody. He listens to people.
He's not really a Democrat. He's not really a Republican.
He's somewhere in the middle.
His own entity, and he's on his last term. So it's not like he has to worry about getting reelected or anything like that, even though he jokes about that running for a third term. It's a joke. Everybody relax. That him being able to throw that out there, because it certainly seems to me, from kind of like the setup from like the WikiLeaks dumps and a bunch of other stuff, that it was supposed to be Hillary Clinton. She was supposed to win that election against Donald Trump in 2016, and that was on her docket to release all of that stuff.
Could doppelgangers be clones?
Could be.
Could be.
See, the thing with clones, if you're going to clone a person, is you still have to wait for them to grow up from a baby. It's not like the movies where you're like, oh, I got one hair sample from him, and then there's a duplicate guy, you know, in the next scene. You still have to wait for that person to reach a certain age, maturity, where they kind of look like that person. So
that's true. It's not, it's not instantaneous. I was going to say, this is just a funny story from when I was young. I was recently married. I was only young. I was with my mother in a shopping centre in Dandenong, Dee and Cheryl, in Dandenong shopping centre, in an arcade. And at the end of the arcade, I saw my husband with another woman and a gentleman, and he kissed the other woman on the cheek. But I'm like, what's going on? And she put her arms around and gave him a hug. Well, my mother saw it too, and we both waltzed up, and I got, without a joke, I got within 1 foot, 30, like 1 foot, ready to, and I said before I got there, hey, because the guy had sunglasses on too. Hey, what are you? And it was only then when he took his sunglasses off, he still looked like my husband, but I knew it wasn't my husband. And I went, I'm really sorry. From a distance, you look like my husband. But it took me to that in front of moment until he took his sunglasses off, because I what are you doing? And he looked at me as if to say, what? So see, doppelgangers probably do. He really looked like, even with the sunnies off, but I could tell then he wasn't. But so many features were just about the same, and I'll never forget that. So it's really, doppelgangers are a thing, I reckon.
Yep, I've certainly not run into mine, but I've had people that I've known for many, many years. Like, hey, remember that time when we went to, Nellis Air Force Base, which is right outside of Las Vegas? Hey, remember that time we went to Vegas and we did this? It's like, that wasn't me. I didn't go with you. He's like, no, that was you. I remember it was you. And then like other people would be like, yeah, you were there. It's like, no, that wasn't me. I didn't go on that trip.
Actually, I wanted to ask you, Enzo, I won't show them because they're for a purpose, but I sent Enzo, I've made some new things, like, how I had the dancing people and all that sort of thing. I made some new things. I played with AI. I thought, I'll give AI a go. But what did you think of the one with you with the alien in the lab?
Oh, right. Yeah, where I was like,
yeah. Did you like that? It's clever. But it's amazing AI. So I could probably put you in lots of situations, Enzo.
Oh boy.
And that's just to me, it's amazing because it's just from, obviously I know
one still picture. Sure. Yeah.
One still picture of you doing this got you working with an alien in a lab, giving him the thumbs up. And I'm like, whoa. Like, now I know how they do. I'm still quite in love with baby Trump and baby Biden and baby Kamala and baby all those little. I think it's called the Baby News Network or something, and it's just super funny. It doesn't paint Trump in a good picture. It doesn't paint him in a bad one. It's comedy. So it takes Trump and Biden and Trump. The other night I watched one where Trump takes baby Melania out for dinner to a restaurant, and he says the way Trump talks, this is a fabulous restaurant, the best, quite frankly, the best. And then their waiter comes up and it's Biden. And it's like, I just love it. I can watch them for ages. I find them hilarious. If you haven't watched them, it's the Baby News Network or something it's called. There's quite a few of them out there, but that particular one's really funny. It's good. They overdo the Trump thing, and baby Kamala laughing with a glass of wine. But there you go. Yeah, you've seen them, Dee. I sometimes share them. Yeah. They're pretty cute. But that's how you should laugh at everything. You should have a good old laugh.
Should be able to.
But there you go. So that's kind of I just wanted to talk about this subject because of the fact that everything seems to be coming really fast. Like we've got Trump talking about, releasing everything. We've got now 2 congressmen that have said that they've seen things. Different people are coming out with different stories. And I'm like, it all seems to be coming along quickly. And Burchett doesn't seem to, he wants it to finish. He's had enough. He says, so yeah, I reckon if anybody wants to think that someone might have enough and actually end up saying something, but I think if he actually ends up saying something, like just having enough and just coming out with it, I think he gets jailed, doesn't he? Because it's breaking there's a law or a whistle, like he wouldn't be covered under the Whistleblower Act or something, but. We'll see what Trumpy does. Hopefully it all comes out. But, have a look. I haven't seen the Lego ones, Dee. I haven't seen the Lego ones. I should... totally off subject, but just because I do like the baby ones. Baby Trump. Baby Trump takes Melania to dinner. It's just a short. Where is it? Is this the one? Even though baby Melania is cute. Oh, that's the long one. I'll just play 1 second of it because I will 100% know that I will get, what do you call it?
Yeah.
100% I'll get nabbed on this. But, you know, it's a comment. Let's share the screen. Baby Trump. I'll just play just the first few bits until he sees the waiter, maybe. Hang on. We'll see how long. I can't remember.
Beautiful night, folks. Tremendous night. People told me, sir, you work too hard. You're too dedicated. You never stop. And that's true. Very true. But I said, you know what? Melania deserves a night out because nobody loves their wife as much as I do. Nobody.
Isn't baby Melania cute?
Yeah.
I just find these things, and then she, so I don't know, but hang on, I'll just play it up until their waiter arrives.
So here we are, fanciest restaurant in the country, best table, best view, and I'm very confident this will be the greatest date night in the history of date nights. It's going to be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
Donald, you say this every time we leave the house, even for the dentist.
Because it's true every time, Melania.
I like how obviously it's an AI reenacted voice thing, but
Right.
it's just I like how they do the thing because that's how he talks, you know. And I just like how they take the piss out because they're taking the piss out of him
Every single time. The dentist was a beautiful evening, by the way. Very underrated date spot. People should try it.
How are we doing tonight, folks? Welcome to, hang on. What's the place called again?
The look on the
What?
that's all I'll play. You've got to go find it. It's just so funny, and they go for about 12. They're so funny, and you just laugh like that one. He just and Joe, what are you doing here? You won't remember our order, that sort of thing. So it takes the piss out of everybody. It's not a I love Trump thing, but it's not a I hate Trump either. And it's not a I like Biden, and it's not a I hate Biden. It's very, very just, it's old-fashioned comedy. but they're fun to watch. If you want to laugh, like I laugh out loud when I watch those. But yeah, but you gotta love it. But yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen to us all, people. We're either going to die in a terrible flood when the world flips, or we're either going to be locked down and controlled by our governments again. Who knows? It's a weird time that we are living in. That is 100% for sure. I just don't know. If the aliens are there, hear me. Come to me. Come to my house. Lift my house up and plop me somewhere out in the middle of the desert with all of my kookaburras and cockatoos and dogs and cats and whatever, and I'll be happy. I just think to myself, I have started to think, though, Enzo, about prepping my kitchen and having tins of food and stuff. Because I
Honestly,
thought,
you're kind of in the middle of the earthquake zone, which could disrupt things. Even if you don't think like, this is actually just good advice for everybody that, we've just gone through because of the political situation around the Straits of Hormuz in the last few weeks. There are certain places that aren't getting enough fuel like they're usually used to getting. So you have to kind of make changes in your life, and that changes everything. That changes the cost of food deliveries and stuff like that. Everything goes up when, the price of gas goes up. You should have, no matter where you live, you're always going to have some type of natural disaster that's possible in your area. You get a lot of snow in the winter. You might have a hurricane or a typhoon or a cyclone, depending on wherever you live. You could have, like where I live, tornadoes, which we had like right at the beginning of the show, about 20 miles northwest of me. I was not in danger. It's okay. Things like that can completely disrupt, if not uproot your whole house. But everybody should have basics in their house. You should always have, as a bare single minimum, 2 to 3 weeks worth of food in your house at all times, to where something happens where you need a buffer where it's like, oh, things are going to be rough for a couple of weeks because there's fighting going on in the Middle East, and that disrupts, fuels and blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that can help. Or you have an actual emergency where, oh, we got so much snow, I can't get out of the house for a week. Well, you've got a couple of weeks worth of food in the house, so that's okay.
Yep.
You're not going to starve to death.
Yep.
Things like that. A way
Well,
to, and a way to cook it, if power goes out or something like that. I'm not saying, brace for the end of the world, nuclear attack or anything like that. That's just basic common sense. You should have a few weeks worth of food.
Well, I've got my little list of things that are, or I've got a little list of things, and I've got some things in the cupboard, but it's mainly, get this. This is Karen venting, all right? Watch out. I'm sure Enzo will redirect me if I'm wrong. I inquired, because I've got solar panels on my roof, right? I inquired about getting a battery. Why? Why would I want a battery? Well, mainly I thought, yes, I can run my household off of whatever the battery holds overnight. That would be great. But really, the main reason, I thought, well, if I had a battery and I've got the solar panels, if the grid goes down, then I've got a battery. It shouldn't affect me. I've got a battery. Well, apparently not. It's not how it works. Everyone I've gotten a quote for says, oh, yeah, we can put a blackout thing in your thing, but it only runs particular things. It won't, you won't be able to run your household on it. And I'm like, well, what's the point of the battery? I might as well just go out and pay for a generator. Like, why would I pay $10,000 for a battery to what? But they've all told me the same thing. Yeah, no, it won't. If the grid goes down, the battery that you've got in your house won't power your whole house. It will power a few things, but not the whole house. And I thought, well, then
and basically that's true, unless you buy a lot of batteries. You fill up your whole entire garage with them and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what they said. There's different things. And I'm like, well, they're $10,000 with a subsidy from the government. They're $10,000. And then it takes you years to pay it off. I'm like, F off. It is a scam, Dee. It's an absolute scam because there's no way that battery costs $10,000 to make.
Probably not. Is that including the solar panels and the installation? It's just the battery is $10,000.
Plus the battery install. Installing the battery. Well, it's actually $16,000, Enzo, but you get $6,000 from the government. So someone is making a lot of money off of this scam, and it ain't the person. Yeah. I just thought, not getting one.
That's outrageous. You can do something like that. But not for $10,000.
No, so I'd much rather just go to Bunnings. You can buy petrol run generators, or you can buy, which are on a smaller thing, I think, the solar generators that run on solar power. So I'd look into both of those, and they're maybe $500 to $1,000, depends, what it is.
And
have a good Sunday, Cheryl. Lots of love.
For like small, like suitcase sized, solar generators. That's good for like charging your phone, keeping a light on all the time. They do make 12-volt refrigerator freezers. I have one for my van that would work off of that just fine. Charge it during the day with the solar panel, and then it'll run all night sipping juice. But it's it's a small compartments in there where if you keep your basics in there, because if you're looking like just from a survival kind of thing, if you have like some kind of medication that needs to be refrigerated, or you have to have like milk for the baby or something like that, things like that that have to be refrigerated, you can certainly keep that in there, and it'll be fine for a basic kind of a thing. running your whole house like a full-size
Oh.
refrigerator and a stove and washer and
You're not gonna
dryer
do
and
that.
TV, big screen TV.
You need
No,
a
that's
huge generator, yeah. But that's the thing. If you know something bad's going to happen, or even if it just happens, so long as you're prepped, like I've got a barbecue outside. It's not gas barbecue. It's just a wooden one and charcoal. Like I've got that. So if I've got the things on my shelf, chai, I've got different things on there that I could go out, rice, whatever, noodles, whatever. I can go out and boil those up outside, add things to it that aren't meat. I've got my eggs from my chicky chooks, so yes, you could absolutely. And if you had a little generator just to keep things cool, powdered milk, long life milk, you'd be right. Now, even flour, I've got wheat. I've got actual wheat in a bag in my kitchen because you can grind that down if you have to and make something with that as well. Soak it overnight, things like that. So there's things you just got to know what to do. Dee knows what to do. She's a savannah. But yeah, so there's lots of things that you can do. But it's a very interesting topic. But at the end of the day, when the day comes that things happen, it'll be a real annoyance if it's because of a war. If it's a natural thing, a natural earthquake, whatever, well,
it depends on what the scenario is that you're trying to prep for. Like, if you're worried about an electromagnetic pulse from the sun or a nuclear explosion or something like that, well, all the stuff you just talked about is not going to work anyways. It's all going to get fried.
Yeah, and exactly.
And solar golden lights are great because you just plunk them outside. They run all night. You carry those around like a little torch inside your house at night and walk around like that instead of a flashlight.
Yeah, so there's plenty of things you can do if the power goes out. It's just, I thought the government's offering a rebate of up to $6,000. I'm thinking, geez, the last time I looked before the government introduced a rebate, right, the solar batteries to apparently run your household, whatever, were about $6,000 installed. Okay, and I thought that was extreme. I thought, what? That's a lot of money just for a friggin' battery. But now magically, because the government has offered a $6,000 rebate, the prices of batteries have gone through the roof. So without the rebate, they're saying $16,000, depending upon the size of your battery that you want. $16,000. Then you get the $6,000 knocked off, and it's going to cost you $10,000. Wow. So rip off. This is what happens. The government does this stuff.
You're not that far away from China, so it should be even cheaper for you. You can get a monstrous battery for $10,000.
Yeah, it's BS. So, so I'm not going to go ahead with that. But, even the solar panels, you've got to get them replaced too. I think they're anywhere from 10 to 15 years that you've got to replace solar panels on your roof. Yep. So at the end of the day, hopefully in 16 years we'll have nuclear power, which should be cheaper to use and run your household on.
Maybe Trump will release alien technology where you can power your whole house off of Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future too. You can just put some garbage in there and run it off of that.
I don't think until someone, Trump is probably powerful enough to do it, until someone gets rid of all those people, BHP, all these people that really just rule the world, we're not going to have much luck because they don't want us to have free power. Then they're poor.
And honestly, it's the petroleum companies. It's the oil company. Is really what it is. We should have been on. We still need oil for various things like all the plastics and rubbers and things like that. Tires, all that stuff. We still need oil for a lot of things. But when 90% of it is going to being poured into your gas tank, once a week or however long it is, we should have been off of that a long time ago.
Yeah, and we would have been. But
money. There's you got Elon coming out with battery cars and stuff like that, which is good, but it's being charged by plugging it into the wall, which is run by a coal plant, which doesn't really help anything.
It's and it's the same thing. And even Elon said, because someone said, I think it might have been Joe, but I just remember watching Elon talk about it, and someone said, why can't you just solar charge the car? And there was something about it. He said it's just not possible at the moment.
Because because the batteries are too big, and you could put solar battery or solar things on it, or you actually what you would really want to do is build like a overhang car park kind of a thing where it sits underneath of it, so it doesn't get like hail damage or birds pooping on it or whatever. And the top of that is nothing but solar panels. That still, our solar panel technology is not great.
It's not. Yeah, and he said it's not enough.
They've made a lot of improvements, but you need like a football field size group of solar panels going into your car, into your Tesla, to keep it charged every day.
Yep. And there, so but it's interesting, all these things that are supposed to help us, and yet we're being charged a fortune for them when they're not worth a fortune, like the batteries. So it's a nuisance. I don't like it. I was talking about this the other week.
It's easy to make hydrogen. You just you add a little electricity to some water. It splits it up into 2 hydrogen atoms, 1 oxygen. There you go. You got free gaseous oxygen. And you could run that off of a solar panel and make quite a bit of it.
Well, I know I said
dangerous.
Before someone I used to go out with had a car that he was running on hydrogen. He showed me, he lifted the hood and he showed me what he had done. And it was a glass jar, I'm going by memory now, glass jar with a copper coil in it, connected with wires. So it must have been maybe to the battery that it was connected. I don't know, but no petrol, no fuel in his car whatsoever. Only enough.
The hydrogen is the fuel. You wouldn't use gas. Instead of using gas, you're
using
using hydrogen.
But it ran his car, and he said it's just that it's really dangerous.
It is very.
And I went, does anyone know you've got this on your car? And he said, well, no. And he said, but you could make it safer. It wouldn't take much to make it safe.
You would because if you got into a wreck and the hydrogen tank got ruptured, then you've got the Hindenburg, because that's what was in the Hindenburg, was all hydrogen.
Yeah.
And if you think about the actual explosion that happened, it was all boof, and then it was done. It was gone. And then, wreckage falling down because there's nothing holding it up. And all of that stuff individually, the fabric and stuff like that's on fire. But the actual flash explosion of it is big. But it's still, versus like an equal volume of gasoline, it would still be burning probably today in New Jersey there where it crashed. If it was gasoline burning, that's an exaggeration. Of course, it wouldn't still be burning, but it would burn for a really long time because it's a liquid and it goes everywhere and gets into all the cracks and crevices.
So the issue was, because someone did invent that to put on your car, like you just basically convert your current car, like that. You don't buy a new car, it just goes on your current car. It's just a conversion kit. But I believe the problem is, because it was a patent, and I believe it was BHP purchased that patent. If anybody else comes out with it, it'd have to be I don't think they can, because it's again, like they've already got the patent on that idea. So if someone else said, oh, well, I'm going to make one, here's my idea, it's still basically on that. So I don't think they can. I don't know. But if someone's got a couple of squillion to play with, why not just invent another one?
Well, and there's a lot of other options too. I mean, like if you had like a gasifier, that's a thing that you can modify a regular vehicle with, where it'll run off of firewood, where it'll you can actually have like if you had a pickup truck, you could put a little wood burning type stove and then run plumbing to your engine, and it goes into there and it uses that as fuel.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing. You had I was driving a car that ran on gas, like you call petrol gas, but I'm talking about gas, like gas. I don't know what the name of the gas is, but you
natural
just,
gas.
Natural gas, yeah, just ran on that. You just
Liquid,
plugged it in. And it ran just as well, but I don't know. You can still fill up your car with gas here. But I haven't had a car that's done that for ages, and that was conversion. But that did have issues with converting your.
Hey, there you go. I was going to mention that next. Dee's got vegetable oil diesel. You can convert diesel to run off of fryer grease from like McDonald's, and that's what it smells like when it's driving down the street. It smells like McDonald's. French fries.
Well, at least it smells nice. But that's the thing. Vegetable oil is petrol made from. It's not made from vegetables. Like vegetable oil is a byproduct of oil. Like it's not something you should be eating, which is amazing to me because people still buy vegetable oil to cook with. Don't. It's not good. It's not natural in any shape or form. But yeah. But there you go. Mobile fish shops. Yep. At least vegetable oil, like fish and chip oil, if you get the old fish and chip oil, at least, yeah, smell nice. Everyone would get hungry.
Yeah. And it's stuff that, these restaurants and stuff like that, they're literally just throwing that away. Where if you're like, hey, I'll take that off your hands, and you do just a really basic filtering of it to get, the little food pieces and parts out of it. Yeah. Filter that stuff out just through a basic screen or, some, piece of cloth or whatever.
So just that you can put in your diesel engine.
Well, if it's converted, sure. Yeah. It's, and it smells like it has to be, the actual liquid, not like lard where it's going to get cold. And that's the other thing is doesn't work great in cold climates because it starts to solidify.
Well, there you go. The things you learn on my show with Enzo. See, I didn't know that.
Or you know.
The more you know. Oh dear. But yeah, so there you go. But it's coming to the end of the time for the show today. Anyway, has anyone got any questions or anything like that? Anything they would like our Enzo, our science guy, to reply to, or something that you might want to know? Because I think I haven't exhausted the subject of human and alien hybrids, but there's only so much, until we know.
Like over an hour ago, I pulled this up and we just walked away from the conversation and we never got back to it. But I have the video from Lewis's nerd report of that.
Oh, you found
Artemis UFO. Yeah, I found it. If we want to watch that, or
put it up, because share it. I'll put it up. This is Lewis. Lewis put this out. I don't think he'll get me for copyright. Don't forget to go to Nerd Report. Support Lewis. We love Lewis. So this is,
only 90 seconds. But,
he won't. It's up to Lewis to say no to. So hit the play button. Check out this.
Folks, I'm on CNN watching this Artemis 2 landing day thing, and a straight up UFO flew not only in front of it, it flew right between the Earth and Artemis 2. I'm going to show you the video because I wasn't the only one who saw this. The chat exploded, which is right here going crazy. Maybe you all could see it. Who else saw it? Let me see. Right here, you got to catch it. It's a white dot right around this area right here. And let's go. Let's check it out. Where'd it go? There it go. All right, here we go. There it is. Right there. Look at that. Look at that sucker. You see it? And just like, there it goes. There it goes. And yeah, man, that's pretty that's pretty clear. All right. I don't know. What do you guys think, Millennium? It's definitely a UFO because it's an unidentified flying object. If it's the Millennium Falcon, I have no idea. But feel free to pause it and stuff like that. If you guys saw it live, of course, we cover alien stuff all the time. was it an alien? I don't know. Maybe it was a meteor. But wow, I have not one more. I've been watching this for like an hour, and like it's the first time I see it, and I wasn't the only one because the chat went crazy here. What do you guys think? Let me know. Nerd out.
Now, I know what you said to me earlier, but I respectfully I don't know. That's weird to me.
This is I have a second video that I'll show here in a second once I explain myself. I don't think that was necessarily an interstellar craft or anything like that. It was probably a piece of ice or something like that that fell off of the craft and it just spun out that way, because they're doing maneuvering at that point in the re-entry process and stuff like that, where they're moving the ship around a little bit. And anytime it would move, you'd see this shower of stuff, which is mostly like little ice crystals. To be fair, that was whatever that was kind of big, so it had to have been relatively close to the camera. It wasn't like this big or anything like that. It was probably a bigger chunk of ice, because I mean, the thing took off from Florida, kind of humid there. All that humidity freezes to the air, to the spacecraft, goes all the way around the moon. It's on the way back, and as things are moving, because they're like I said, and to illustrate things moving around, if we can pull up the share again, there was a part of the spacecraft. I'm just going to do this with the volume off, but this is before it comes in. All this stuff you see flying around, this is after the landing capsule that actually splashed down, separated from the larger part behind it, which had the solar panels and all that stuff on it. This is all little pieces of dust and ice crystals that were all between those two pieces, and they separated, and it's going all over the place after they separated. And anytime that, like when they unfolded the solar wings and stuff like that at the very beginning of it, it did this. That's common. That happens quite often out in space.
I'll respectfully say that what you just shown me then I've seen before, because I've watched, I've seen that before. But that one that Lewis put up, that just didn't look like it to me. That looked almost shiny.
Right.
It didn't look like that. It didn't look like that. It was weird.
Well,
it didn't look like it came off of it. It looked like it was in the distance.
Something behind it. Okay. If it had changed direction or curved or done like a right angle turn or something like that, then I'd surely say, oh, that's obviously not an ice crystal. That's not a bolt that fell off. That's not, like it wouldn't have been a meteor, because you could see the Earth. It was well outside of the atmosphere, so it wasn't anything like that. And even if it was, it would have been traveling at like that. That's the other part of this, is whatever that was that floated across the screen was, unless it was something big, very far away, was moving really, really slow. So, the craft itself is moving like in the 20,000 mile per hour range, heading back towards Earth. So anything that like flies off of it, it would have to have been, if it was something like that, if it was moving at 20,000 miles per hour, it wouldn't have even been on the screen that long. It would have been zip.
Well, I'm hoping that Avi Loeb is watching.
Avi Loeb has an article up actually where he talked about how the Artemis crew, when they were on the dark side of the moon, when they were on the back side of it, it was all in shadow, where they actually witnessed some micrometeorite impacts on the moon, and we're seeing the flashes from where it impacted. So that's pretty interesting. That's
pretty cool. So I don't know. You're probably right, because you're pretty smart, but it does look. It looks very.
I wish it was, from if there was a bumper sticker on the back, proudly made in Alpha Centauri or whatever it was. I'd love for
or
that
a little
to be
green alien going, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, it was definitely, for me, it's definitely a UFO, meaning it's unidentified. I don't know. But it was interesting. But we'll see. Dee likes all this sort of stuff, don't you? Like you do, Dee. But well, there you go. Anything else that you can think of that we need to discuss? I don't know. I don't think so.
We covered all the hits. I think.
Yeah, we'll see how crazy the world is this week. There's tons I could talk about, but I'm just trying. It's just the world's gone crazy. The world has gone crazy. Yeah, and I don't think do you know, the sad thing is, if Donald Trump came out and gave a talk tomorrow and said, guys, aliens are 100% real. Here is one now. This is Fred.
Walks out.
I think, yeah, hey, hi, we're real. I think, honestly, the world is at a point of, well, great. Can you help us at all? If not, whoop, whoop. That's how I think everyone would be too interested in going back onto the YouTube to see what Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens have got to say. Not to mention Tucker Carlson.
Did you ever listen to those?
I honestly think people would be more interested in crazy rumors and stupid shit than to see.
Candace Owens would say it was a demon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, she's already said, what did she say? Trump is the Antichrist. Did you know that? And someone needs to put,
well,
I'm like,
you've seen all the big influencers the last couple of weeks making a lot of big moves. So suddenly that we're pro-Trump or now anti-Trump. It's all clickbait BS because this November we'll have our midterm elections where different people get voted in for the House and all that. In the Congress and all that stuff. And so there's typically, I think there's only been two presidents that over the years where it didn't flip from, because right now the Republicans are have the majority, a slim majority. And it's typical that during the midterms, it flips to whoever the opposite party is from the president at that time goes to them. And it's usually by very slim, like single-digit margins all the time, because that's, and to be fair and honest, that's kind of what you want out of your government. You want close to a 50-50 split.
You do.
So everybody's representative and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You've really got to have a party really screwing up if it's greater than that.
So far, the other side, the Democrat side, apart from a few old school ones, they're just insane.
They're all fucking crazy.
They're just insane. Like none of them are talking about how, hey, you know, if we do win the midterms, we're going to look at this, and this. We've got a plan for this, and this. None of them are doing the right thing. None of them, they're all insane. It's all, orange hair man bad, Trump's bad, They've got nothing else to talk about. They don't talk about anything. Yeah, it's all Trump.
They don't talk about social issues like they're supposed to be. Like, oh, we want to turn the economy around. We need to start doing this and this and that. No, it's all Trump.
But it's really weird. Like Trump, he did get no tax on tips, which is great. He has stopped the elderly on pensions from being taxed, which is fantastic. His oil prices were down. I don't even know why they're up in America because it doesn't affect you guys. You get your oil from other places, but that's not Trump. That's the oil companies. Right. Same as here. There's no companies. Yeah, the oil companies here too. There's no excuse for our prices to be through the roof like they are at the moment either, because technically we've not been affected yet. All right, but and prices of things have come down. I've spoken to you about it, but I've spoken to other people. People say, yeah, no, look, it's not too bad.
Honestly, and it was even mentioned earlier. It was even mentioned earlier in the show today by somebody during one of the clips. There's a lot of people really steamed about the whole Epstein files thing, and and I get it. I mean, a lot. The impression was that they would get released, and then all these names would be out there, and then all these people would be thrown in jail or going to court and all have to explain themselves. And none of that stuff happened. I mean, granted, yeah, stuff was eventually all released eventually because there was so much of it.
Pam Bondi's gone.
Right. And that's part of the reason why she's gone is because of the way that was handled.
She didn't do anything. And also it turns out that she had leaked some information, like, she got the sack, let's face it. And so it'd be interesting to see, hello, Carla. It'd be interesting to see if the new person put in charge, because I don't think he's in yet, but it'd be interesting to see if anything happens there. So it's like a watch this space. Oh, isn't it? You've missed the good stuff, Carla. We talked about
human right at the end where we're saying goodbye.
Yeah, we're saying goodbye now. We're doing okay. We talked about our human and alien hybrids, the news that's apparently what the government's doing. Wouldn't surprise me at all. No, it's not weird that Melania did a speech. She's probably been waiting to talk about it for ages and being told.
I don't know. That was kind of odd.
I think something's afoot, as Sherlock would say.
Yeah, I would think there's something that's probably out there that somebody's about to drop some crazy story and she was getting ahead of it. Maybe. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I don't know. And anyway, I like Melania, and I like that she says her piece and then she just turns and walks away. I like that. She doesn't. Well, I don't know. It all depends. I think something's afoot. Trump's gotten rid of a few people, which is good.
Which is what he did during his last administration too.
And Bondi had enough. Like he is
the "you're fired" guy. If he doesn't like what you've been doing, he will let you go.
Yeah, and I think what might happen now that the new fellow is going to come in, Trump's probably said to him, "I'm fucking over all this shit. Start letting unredact the redacted, like just put it all out there." And anyway, quite frankly, to be honest, if all of the women, granted a few died because they were going to talk out, but if all of the women involved, all that needs to be done, which I think Melania alluded to, all that needs to be done is these women need to come forward and they'll be protected and looked after. Spill the beans, baby. Name the names. Just spill it. Say who it was.
Well, and that's the thing about all the Epstein file stuff is there wasn't enough evidence in there to take anybody to court. There's mentions or there's email traffic.
That's what she's saying. You need these women to come forward. You need the women. You can't have these women standing back saying justice for us when you're not going to name names.
Yeah, you need to follow through if that's the case.
Yeah, and so I think it'll be all right. I think certain people are going to have to eat their words. I'm sick of hearing all this crap because there's some pretty like that. What's his face? Microsoft man. I always have trouble with his name because I hate him so much. He is evil. He is just an evil, scheming person, and he had a lot to do with Epstein. And I would love to know. I think it's all going to come out, and if it's going to come out, timing's everything. So we'll see. But yeah, some of these people are just evil beyond words, just evil. Not half of the files are hidden. They've I think certain files between the years 2003, 2006, something like that. There's a lump which haven't been released, so I think that's why Pam Bondi has gone. That Bill Gates. When you look at the conversations that he was having about, even interviews that he's given where he's spoken about the human race was too many humans. We need to stop making lots of humans. And then he and Epstein having conversations about viruses and all that sort of thing. And I'm like, yeah, you're a creep. And he shouldn't be. He should be behind bars. But this is what happens when people get powerful. It is what it is. Money talks. But I don't know. Oh, well, on that creepy note, as Dee puts it, on that creepy note, I hope that everyone had a wonderful Easter. I know I did. I had a lovely Easter. The Easter Bunny came along and left some chocolate eggs, which I wish he hadn't have, but geez, they were yummy. And but that's okay. I can work them off. I'm still looking forward to my trip to America in July. Again, fingers crossed nothing goes wrong before that. I must admit, probably if I left today, no, I wouldn't be worried. But I'm still mindful that I hope this all settles down within the next few weeks. So come June, the end of June, I feel a lot more comfortable traveling in a plane for 15, 16 hours. But yeah, once I'm in Virginia City, no worries, I'll be fine. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the food. I'm looking forward to giving hugs to the people I haven't seen for a few years. I'm looking forward to finding the wild horses, going down and patting the mules. I'm just looking forward to it. It'll be really wonderful.
Not feeding the bear.
Look, I'm still optional on that. I still think the bear
There's no
deserves.
option. Not feed the bear.
Listen, if I happen to accidentally leave a cake on top of the rubbish bin and the bear eats it, what can you do? I forgot. I got out of the car.
How far away is the rubbish bin from my vehicle?
Opposites. Once he eats that yummy
Not
cake,
far
it's
enough.
going to come and annoy you. It'll all be good. I'll get footage because Taylor's
claw
got
marks on the side of my van.
Yeah, no, I think he's a friendly bear. I don't know.
It's going to be all
I just feel sorry for him eating hot garbage. He needs to have a nice honey cake. Yeah. I don't know. But there you go. Well, guys, that's a happier note to end on. Feeding a bear some cake. Yeah, a cake was the appetizer. No, it is a big bear. I have seen it. I have seen footage of that particular bear in Virginia City itself, down one end, walking past. Someone got it walking past the the name of the hotel, the Mountain something or other. Oh, why isn't Kristen in today? But there's a hotel, and it was walking past, looking at the bins. And I just feel sorry for him. It'll be hot, a nice honey cake, maybe a bowl of water. I'm glad Taylor's not here. She can't hear my plans. Enzo would be the main meal, yes. He wouldn't want to walk out.
You don't want to
but maybe I'll do that before you arrive, Enzo. I might get
full of cholesterol and bad stuff. You do not want to be eating me.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to going to some of the restaurants there and having the good old highly fattening, deep fried pickles. You know, the pickles like fries.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yum. They're pickles. They cut them. I get them at, I'm trying to remember. I think it's, I can't remember. One of the restaurants in town, one of the places, they've cut, the pickles are cut like in the shape of fries. And then they're obviously put in batter and deep fried. And so you get a big bowl of these pickle fries. Oh, with dip.
Yeah, you could deep fry an old tire and I would eat it. I love it.
Oh, gosh. All right. Now I'm hungry. All right, everybody. Ooh. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope we covered most everything. Hang on. What is Aaron took Drew and Werner taking it. They found some gold. No nuggets, though. Otherwise, we'd hear about that. Thank you for watching, Dee, and everybody else that tuned in. I think my beautiful Tanya's disappeared. She's gone somewhere. But thank you, everybody. Thank you. And there'll be another subject to talk about next week for sure. I'm not sure what yet, but something will come up during the week. And Enzo, look after yourself. And yeah, everybody have a wonderful Sunday or a Saturday night. And I'll talk to you all next week. That's it. That's goodbye from me and goodbye from Enzo. Bye.